I'm definitely excited about this interview. I definitely I want you to start telling us more about you. I've read a lot about you, and, we know quite a bit about you, but, tell our readers and our listeners, tell us about you.
Sure.
I know that you were born you were in Philly?
Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, okay. Tell us about where you come from. Tell us about, tell us everything. Just tell us. Tell us about Maxi.
I'm from the wonderful sports town of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and actually I was raised in a small suburb, which was 3 small cities that became the Steel Valley, which where the steel mills were. But it was Monroe, Homestead, and New Homestead. There were 3 small towns, and while I was in school during my high school years, they actually merged and became the Steel Valley. But if you really want to pinpoint on the map, it's about maybe 1.3 miles away from Homestead. Now, Homestead is the town where the first Negro baseball team is from, and greats like Killer Hyman and George Benson and a lot of sport and music greats. So I come from great stock in a good town.
And how did you get started in music, and what made you interested in music?
Well, music wasn't my only interest. I mean, I was always, since a child, wanted to be an entertainer. I mean, ever since I was a child, I knew I wanted to entertain. I wanted to sing, I wanted to dance, I wanted to act, do Broadway, all of these types of things. I knew very early on what I was born to do. And, I worked as a small child, training myself. I'm a self-taught performer. I came from a very, lower middle class upbringing, not a lot of money available to take lessons and things and do the aspirations that I wanted to do as a child. But it didn't stop me. Just like today, money stop me from doing anything. Money can enhance things, but, if you've got talent, will, and you've got the passion, and the hunger, you can make it, with or without a dollar. And I've proven that once, and I'm about to prove it again twice.
And your start in music, how did you get started?
My start in music, going from the chorus in high school and all of that thing, but even as a young child, I grew up with the Motown sound, and that's what I was mostly drawn to. Although my parents listened to everything from Creedence Clearwater to Three Dog Night, my mother was a country fan. We listened to everything from Bo Diddley to Creedence in my home. And I come from Pittsburgh, like I said, and WAMO is one of the greatest, oldest radio stations known to man, who pretty much played a good melting pot of selections, So we had all kind of music growing up. It was all different genres. It's when the Motown sound came out, and then like watching the Ed Sullivan Show and things like that when I was younger. The first time I saw the Supremes was when I knew. I said, I want to be in a girl group. I want to do something like that. I was inspired very much by Tina Turner and Michael Jackson. I always saw myself as by myself, but I also saw myself in a group with others. So I'm a team player, so it was all good for me. But growing up to that sound and, having that passion to be a Motown artist even, or to even just be, get on TV or on the radio and that, that's where my focus was always on that. Even in high school, my focus wasn't on boys and dating and none of that. My focus was on the extracurricular activities, being a majorette, and I loved my dance team and all of that kind of things, all of those sorts of things. And, my passion after high school still was to continue and eventually move on to either New York or Los Angeles and pursue entertainment. And I did. I came out here with $50 in my pocket, and 10 weeks later I was chosen, by Rick James to be in the Mary Jane Girls singing group.
Awesome. And so how was it working with Rick James or meeting Rick James?
Oh, how much time do you have?
We don't have that much time, but I would definitely love to hear a brief synopsis.
Well, when I first met Rick, I was very impressed with his work savvy. That's what impressed me the most about him. Not only was he this charismatic man, he was very charismatic. He was very, how do I want to say, personable, very approachable, very friendly, funny, so talented. That's all I can say. When I first met him, he was working at the board, and he was already recording, started working on the Mary Jane Girl album, and I had the opportunity to spend like 4 or 5 hours before I even was watch him work and his work ethic. And I knew this guy was serious about what he does. He was very serious, and I watched how he interacts with all the players and everything, and it was like a family. It was like a family. So when I got there and he discovered my talent, and then he said, do you want to be in the group? I was like, well, this is kind of a nice family situation. And I had gone for it. You know, I thought I would have a great time. Rick James was an icon. He was at the top of the charts at the time. I mean, how could I go wrong? You know, and I ended up being in one of the, you know, greatest singing groups of all time. I'm in the legendary Motown, you know, books and, you know, the museums and everything else. So it was a wonderful experience. It was, you know, a learning experience, a wonderful experience. And, you know, later on the line, you know, when the drugs got bad for Rick, that's when we saw the other personalities come out, and that became difficult to work with him, and others became difficult to work with him. And, you know, when you're not in control, when drugs are controlling you and you're not in control of the drugs, everything can go haywire, and that's pretty much what happened. So it kind of went haywire after that. But, you know, first meeting him, the impressions were good. The work ethic was great. The talent was awesome. You know, the girls were awesome. Going on the road, caravanning with like 13, 14 bands, all old school bands, and meeting everybody, and, you know, still having associations with everybody is just a wonderful thing. And I know many, many people would have loved to have been in my shoes, so I'm never going to complain about it. You know, you're never going to hear me complain about my experience. The good was great. The bad, I learned from it. I'm moving on, and the combination of things, you know, it just drives me to where I am today with the experience and my passion and my realization to finding my new self. You know what I'm saying? I'm reinventing myself, so I'm having a lot of fun with that now. But the experiences I had with the girls and Rick was a wonderful experience. It really was.
Okay. And being the icon that you are, I just want to know the music industry then versus now.
Oh, totally different. Totally different. Back then, they just signed up an artist, took all your publishing, ripped you off, you know, put millions of dollars behind you. Now you're left for the streets to invest in you.
Okay, in saying that, would you want to pursue music now?
I'm still pursuing music. I just released a single on my own. It was the first time my own, outside of the group. I just did a new single, an anti-bullying theme, entitled Shine, and I'm back to writing. I just wrote a hit record with a young lady who's working with Lady Gaga, and she's a wonderful new upcoming record producer. I like working with the female as well. We have really good chemistry together. So we just did a wonderful hit record, and we have 2 record executives from 2 major companies wanting to place it on an A-list artist. So I'm going to step back from doing the song for myself and go ahead and get in the pay column. I'd rather get the money in publishing on that one with a younger artist instead of trying to reinvent myself on the music tip at the age that I am now. So, you know, the industry is a lot different. No, I don't mind going out and doing what I always do. You know, I'm 53 years old, my next birthday, so you figure it's not the time to reinvent yourself and be a solo music artist at this late date. Although I do like to do the writing, and if the songs land somewhere, I'd be happy for somebody to do them, just because I like the message or my inspiration or the words to get out.
Now, you know, I have to ask this because I'm younger than you by age, but when it comes to music and all of that, I am an old head. So we might share some of the most favorite artists. Who are yours?
Oh, wow. My favorite artists. I mean, there's so many. I like a lot of the guy groups for when I do. I don't know why I like Jagged Edge and these kind of groups like that. I love love male singers that can really, I love Trey Songz, you know, I love these R&B singers who can bring that passion and that, you know, the upcoming new Luthers and the, you know, we have our old school players that have all those wonderful qualities too. And you don't see too many coming up with that talent, but when you do, it sticks up in the forefront. So right now, the other day I was like ready to go out and buy Trey Songz album. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I listen to. I love Keisha Cole's. I love like really, how do I say, soulful, really soulful, and people that have. I love Charlie Wilson. I mean, these are my old school players. I still go to concerts. I still go see Keith Sweat when he comes to town, and you know, I love on the female. There's so many good artists right now. They are, you know, there's a lot of these commercial artists like, you know, the Nicki Minaj's now. So